Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Spiritual practice is the journey from the changing to the changeless. How simple it is. What is changing and what is changeless? So first we'll see objectively and then we'll see subjectively. Objectively, the earth changes, then the waters change, then the fire changes, the air changes, but the space doesn't change. Space is the same. So one of the technique of the spiritual practice is, we start playing what must be the experience of the space. That is one spiritual practice. This is what we have seen, Khechari Shivavastha. So don't have to bother about anything. Just start playing. And when we play, nobody is involved. See? Like when we play with the children, something like we play carom or cricket. That time we are not interested in winning or losing. See? But the child is interested. See? Once I was playing with the kids in a camp. So they said, you have to play Swami with us. I said, on one condition. I will do only batting. Don't ask me to run. And no wicket keeping. No bowling. Agreed? Yes, agreed. So they started bowling, I started playing. And once that boy shouted, LBW. I said, it cannot be. Because my legs are covered, you can't see my legs. How can you say LBW? He said, Swamiji, for you the meaning is different. Lungi before wicket. Not the leg before wicket, lungi before wicket. So for me, whether I am defeated or I win, it was just a fun. But for the children, it becomes a great issue. See, the same thing happens when you are walking your spiritual path. See, these days I am doing meditation every day. I get up early morning at 4 o'clock and go to sleep again. See, that I must disappear. And for disappearance of the I, take this technique, very simple technique. Don't do meditation, but start playing meditation. So when you are playing meditation, success and failure is not the issue. See? So, sit down. Doesn't matter in what posture you sit. Only Padmasana, like Bhagavad Gita says, Shuchau deshe pratisthapya sthiramasanam Natyuchritam nati nicham chailajinu kushottaram tatraikagram manakrutva manaschalamastino. Don't get lost in that. Simple thing. Let us play. Another 10 minutes we have to go to office. And instead of watching the useless news or the newspaper, let us play 10 minutes meditation, sit down. What must be the experience of the space? Now start playing with this theme. Space supports all the objects, doesn't reject any object, but doesn't get influenced by any object. So what is meditation? Let any object come and go. And there are only 5 objects. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, 5 objects. Let any object come and go. We refuse to get involved. So when you sit, there will be many things coming as your spiritual examination. There will be phone call, there may be some noise, there may be water leaking in the bathroom. But now you say, no, I am space, nothing happens to me. Better. Give it a chance. Nobody can do it for us. We have to do it ourselves. See? There is no proxy on the spiritual path. We have to live our life, we have to die our death, we have to practice our own spiritual life. This is the technique. So when we start this way, so changing is Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, they keep on changing. But the space doesn't change. This is one journey, starting from the changing, reaching the changeless, objectively. Then the second one. The thoughts keep on changing. The mind doesn't change. Normally we are told that observe your mind. But what we do? We observe the thoughts. Don't observe the thoughts, observe the mind. Like, observe the cloth. Instead of observing the cloth, we observe, oh, the stitching is pretty good. It is a good fit. So what we are doing is the shape and the size of the cloth that is stitched. Our attention is not on the texture and the quality of the cloth. In the same manner, watch the mind means be indifferent to the thoughts. And how we can be? Only the same technique. From the changing to the changeless. Thoughts are changing. What is not changing is the mind. So let any thought come, good or bad, who cares? This is your experience of divine realization. Not only you are not talking to yourself, but you don't even want to talk to others. And yet you are not sleeping. So, we have come to the mental space. The second objective migration from the changing to the changeless. Now, the subjective migration. Subjective migration is, I was a child, when we were children, we never used to get so many shoes, only one shoe that was inherited from the eldest brother. चड्डी तो हमने कभी नई खरीदी च नहीं. So, childhood I was like this, teenage I was like this, and where all that thing has gone? Everything is gone. But we are the same. Therefore, if you become aware of this, that we have never experienced that we are growing. We can't experience. And because of this, every old man tries to cut a pathetic joke. And the pathetic joke is, Swamiji, can you guess what is my age? One person in Calcutta asked me this question. In the morning about 6 o'clock, I was sitting somewhere near a lake, beautiful place, enjoying the chirping of the birds and the fresh air. One person came with a short half pant, with a, felt cap or whatever, and t-shirt, and tuk, shorty, must be about 5 feet or 4 feet like that, okay. And he said, excuse me, can you tell me what is my age? To an unknown person in the morning, who can ask such a question? Only baby, is it not? One baby asked me this question here just now when I was sitting. He said, "Hey, you don't have chin?" It's true, I don't have chin. So, what is my age? So when I looked at him, I told maybe 3 years of age. Because such a stupid question cannot be asked by a grown-up person. No, tell me really. I said, it may be about 81. Do you know, I am 81 years young, and he thought he has cut a joke. Now why these 81 years belong to whom? To the body. And young means not getting influenced by time. Belongs to whom? The reality that you are. So what we have done? We have made a sabudana khichadi. Think. So from the changing to the changeless, subjectively, this meditation, spiritual practice will be, don't talk about your past and don't ask anybody about their past. Then what to talk? Chennai, it is raining so much, I don't know, so much rains, Many accidents, many people have died. Over. See? One more example I'll tell you, the importance of this. This happened in Vienna, in Austria. After my retreat was over, so as a tradition they took me to show me that city. Very historical city. So they say, Swamiji, when people come here, they see the palace and then the museum and the artifacts of that various kings and the queens. So, shall we go there? I said, if it is compulsory, I'll go. But if there is a choice, yes, there is a choice, it's not compulsory. I said, let us go to the market. In the heart of that village market, where cars don't go, so we went there, small pebbles. And I said, we'll sit here, have a nice cup of coffee and enjoy what is happening. So one spiritually, infected person asked me this question. So, people normally come here and see these various things, but you are not interested in that. And Mahatmas, spiritual people, don't go to the market and in the shopping area and the tea, coffee, bars and all that. How do you like it? I said, first of all, it is your fault that you call me Mahatma. I am not. It is your fault, not my fault. The second thing, last 3 days we had a retreat. You tell me one thing what you have learned. He said, you have been emphasizing on remaining in the present. They're very good. Now here we are in this hotel taking a cup of tea on today's date. Are we not in the present? And you will take me show, this is the chappal of that Beokoof. How does it matter? What I am going to do with the chappal? Oh, take a picture and show. मैं गया था जूता खा के आया. अरे See, friends, start living in the utter present. See, friends, it is for this purpose the japa sadhana is told in the 2nd chapter of Shiva Sutra. When we chant the Lord's name, we are, be attentive, we are always living now. We cannot live yesterday, we cannot live tomorrow. We are always living now. And when we chant the Lord's name, we are chanting the Lord's name now. Now, third thing, the Lord's name is complete in itself. Therefore, after you chant the Lord's name, second generation thoughts are not born. So the net result is, you keep on chanting and yet you remain in the present. See. Then we come to know Chittam Mantraha. This mantra means what? Mananat Trayate. The one who protects us when we reflect on the mantra meaning. So how this will help us? So when we chant Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, At this time, we are in the utter present. No past, no future. Then silence. Because of the earlier momentum of the habit of thinking, again some thought may pop up. Immediately kill that thought by firing Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. So when the words are chanted, we are in the mind. When attention is on the silence, we are still in the mind. We have not gone beyond the mind. Because mind always functions with the dvandva, the pairs. Joy, sorrows, sound, silence, success, failure, friend, enemy, health, disease. So such people who imagine that be quiet, meditation in progress, don't disturb. So they are still holding on to the mind. They are not gone beyond the mind. So here, mantra has not yet become chittam. So the word must get dissolved in the pure consciousness. See? So when we thus practice this, now see, in all this discussion, we have not heard last life, this life, next life. We have not discussed sin, merit. We have not discussed birth, death. These are non-essentials. Then, by God's grace, we slowly start discovering that both mind and consciousness are knowledge, but mind is that knowledge where objectivity is prominent. Seeker is that knowledge where subjectivity is prominent. Consciousness is that knowledge where the subject-object duality disappears. And when we thus continue, we come to know the 7 sutras that we have seen, Matruka Chakra Sambodhaha. Then we know the secret of the sounds, the words. And then once we know the secret of the words, then we are initiated into the Upadesha, Tattvam Asi, that thou art. See? To understand the import of this, the earlier practice of mantra sadhana is essential. But this mantra sadhana should not be done mechanically. Most of us do it mechanically. That we have to finish so many malas. No. There is no hurry. We don't have to reach anybody. We don't have to give account to God. मालूम है कितना बार trying? No. See? The idea is, through this support of the mantra, we dissolve the mind in the pure consciousness. And next question comes, if the mind is really dissolved in consciousness, what are the symptoms? What are the symptoms of the virus attack? All your joints start giving pain. When people are feeling cold, you feel hot. When people feel hot, you feel cold. Virus ho gaya. In the same manner, living as consciousness through the body, what are the symptoms? Only 2 symptoms. Number 1, the sense of otherness, in spite of the perception of otherness, does not hold valid. Such masters, for them, love is not a verb, love is their experience. See? Because they are no more living as an individual. They are living as consciousness through the body. First thing is this. Although perception of otherness is, yet the otherness is not accepted as valid. Therefore, all the great masters, they accept, embrace everything and being. See? Then we understand how come in the presence of the great masters, all the enmities among the various animals disappears. You must have read about the stories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he was coming from Bengal to Vrindavan, those days, no vehicles, no nothing. So when he was going through the forest, all the animals, tigers and deers and elephants and birds, they were with him comfortably, no enmity. Because the impact of his living as consciousness was so big that the same thing as he permeated in and through the whole atmosphere around him. See? Because no more living as the body, but living as consciousness through the body. First symptom of living in God is this. It happens. It is not done. And when it is done, we try to prove something. See, this is another important point. Great masters never tried to prove anything to anybody. See, we try to prove something, So if somebody's birthday, immediately we write, and we don't have to remember these days. It comes in your phone. Kalu's Beokubba birthday, hello kai. And there are softwares. You don't have to even think. Feed it once for all, and it keeps on going. Like the WhatsApp coming unnecessarily. See, friends. Therefore, this is not done. It starts happening. And when things start happening, we don't struggle to prove anything. If you look within our own life, our life has been a struggle to prove something to somebody. And in that there is a struggle. Once I probably told you this experience. This happened in UK. One lady came to receive me. And we were supposed to go to some church for a lecture, message of Gita. And whatever reason, we reached very late. So I expected the people must have gone, but they were still hanging around, so I had to talk. So I spoke about an hour or so, had tea, coffee, went to my hostess place, had my dinner, and after the dinner I was watching a documentary on Tibet. So this lady who came to pick me up, Swamiji, go and sleep now, you are tired. I said, look here, I am not a baby. I will do whatever I like, don't dictate me anything. No, not that way, don't get angry. You see, you traveled all the way 8-9 hours and then 4 hours by car and then lecture. Are you not tired? I said, no, I am not tired. This is what I want to ask. I want to become like you. I said, it can never happen. Why? No beard. See? Because the rule is, longer the beard, more is the wisdom. Shorter the beard, doubtful is the wisdom. No beard, so you forget, you cannot become like me. Swami, you always cut jokes, not like that, please. I said, look here, listen now. Your whole life is a struggle. You want to prove something to somebody. Don't struggle to prove anything to anybody in this world. Be yourself. See? When we try to prove something to somebody, our strong ego is born. See? Then, second thing, we try to justify everything. See, I was coming actually on time, but there was a traffic jam. No, nobody asks you, if you don't come, how does it matter? These two things create a strong personality. One is to prove something. Second is to justify something. Stop that. Then alone consciousness is expressing through the same counter which was having encounter with everything and everybody in this world. Now that encounter is over. Now a divine counter opens and the whole world is embraced without efforts. See, friends. And when we thus continue, we slowly start migrating from the Vaikhari to Madhyama, from Madhyama to Pashyanti. Up to Pashyanti Vani is our effort. Vaikhari Vani, first do the japa loudly. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. When this speech, Vaikhari Vani, becomes purified and ripe, the japa migrates to the Madhyama Vani at the Vishuddha Chakra. And there you continue chanting all the time. That Madhyama Vani also gets purified and ripe. Depends on God's will how much time it will take. And then you enter the Pashyanti Vani. All the great masters live in Pashyanti Vani. Therefore, when they say something casually, even in a joke, it happens. When we say, we talk from the lips. At the most, we may talk from the throat or the Madhyama Vani. We can't go beyond that. So when we thus start migrating from the changing words to silence words to the absolute silence, this journey is spiritual path, spiritual journey. After having come to the Pashyanti Vani, thereafter it is taken over by the Lord. But when the Lord has to take over, first of all, He takes our spiritual examinations. And the spiritual examinations are in the form of temptations. Like in the external world, name, fame, achievement, glory, these attract a person so much that everything is forgotten. I want, my name should be there. I should be this, not the other one. See? In the same manner, for the spiritual seeker, the spiritual examination begins. When we thus start becoming subtler and subtler, reaching nearer and nearer to the conscious reality that we are, many siddhis or spiritual powers, they start surfacing. See, friends. And when these spiritual powers start surfacing, then we get lost only in that. See, friends, till such time we have this notion that we can do good to the world, we are far away from the truth. We have not created this world. We cannot do good to the world. Then we can serve the world. There's a difference between doing good to the world and serving the world. See, friends, you will see these NGOs. Recently I went for one NGO meeting. Non-godly organizations. There are 50 of us and came from different places all over the world. And nothing but one's opinions, this thing, that thing. And they must have spent in 3 days a minimum of 50 lakhs. People coming from various places, their fares were given. Like, 50,000, 100,000 rupees or more than that. then staying in a five-star hotel, and then the various venues, various things given, then the dinner and the lunch for these 50 fools. Even if you take 100,000 rupees per head, it becomes 50 lakhs. Out of that, what has come out? Nothing. Only one thing. We have conducted such a conference wherein the delegates from all over the world were invited and we have phooked. Paise phook dete. We have destroyed 50 lakhs, and what is achieved out of it? Nothing. See, friends, that is not the spiritual practice. Therefore, those who are engaged in social work, they can never get into the spiritual practice. For them, the social work is more important than God. Bhagavad Gita clearly it is, Uddhared Atmana Atmanam Natmanam Avasadayet. Atmaiva Atmano Bandhu Atmaiva Repuratmana. And even if we are engaged in the social work, always we have to remember, it is our seva. We are not improving anybody in this world. Where God has failed to improve us, will we be able to improve others? Think. हम तो डूबे हैं सनम, पब्लिक को साथ लेके डूबेंगे. See, friends, therefore it is the seva. And see what happens. When you want to improve somebody, you are already certified. It is a useless thing. But when you serve somebody, you have recognized something higher in that person. We serve our parents. We serve our country. See? We don't improve our parents. See, my mom doesn't look good. Let me take her to the beauty parlor, We don't improve upon her. We only serve her. In the same manner, this attitude of improving the world has to be dropped. So when thus progress and the consciousness starts expressing through the same counter where from earlier I was expressing, now the symptoms are, we are at peace with everyone, everywhere. We don't struggle to justify anything. We don't want to prove anything to anybody. See? The reason is given. Because if we have really reached our essential nature, then what happens? The next sutra, the 8th sutra tells, Shariram havihi idrushasya asya matruka chakra sambodhavataha. He who has thus understood the secret of the words, the letters matruka chakra, then Shariram havihi. Now the next sutra is, for him, the body is an oblation offered in the fire of knowledge. See? Offering the body in the fire of knowledge, that doesn't mean you burn yourself, no. Thereafter, one stops living as the body, for the body, on everybody. We start living someone working through the body and no more working as the body. Friend, these two things, please remember, if you catch hold of these two things, you have understood the whole secret of spiritual life. First is freedom from body identification. If that is not achieved, whatever you have done is a wastage. And how do we know whether body disidentification is happening or not? Two things will start happening. Number one, possessiveness of the things will be reduced. And second, the burden of relationship will be slowly deleted. Because after body identification alone, this waking world becomes real. And waking world has these two components, either possessions or relations. All of us become miserable only on account of these two things, possessions and relations. So the first step is freedom from body identification. Shariram havihi. Now, how do we practice freedom from body identification? Number one, same thing. Let us not talk about our achievements or failures in life. You will see this military people, after retirement also, they hold on to their degrees. Retired brigadier. They don't want to give up. Not only them, I have come across some Swamis. When I went to meet, the name was written, I will not tell you the name, so and so. So I said, there Swamiji there. Oh, so they referred to him by his earlier name. See, when sannyasi is taken, two things are destroyed, name and form. Your form is so beautiful. Our form is so horrible. Destroy the form. And then your names are wonderful. Our names are added with Ananda. One child asked me this question. Swamiji, why all Swamis are Ananda like that? I said, why? Is it a monopoly of the cinema actors? Devananda? So the Swamis are told indirectly, at least for name's sake, be happy. Tumhara naam Ananda hai, tu kyun? See, friends. So these names and the forms are dropped automatically. See, friends. So we don't talk about our possessions, failures, success in the life. Second thing, we don't involve any relations in our discussions. You just observe this. When one mother is talking about her child, if there is another mother, she will never keep quiet. She will plug the tongue of that other mother and tell about her child. My child. Hare Ram, let her talk about her child. But who is interested? This is how our body identification becomes strengthened. Try this consciously. Never talk about achievements or failures of the past. Never bring any relations in your discussions when anybody is talking on any topic. To that extent, body disidentification is happening. Instead of practicing this, Babajis like me, they create relations. Oh, that Swami, he is my Guru Bhai. And that Swamini, she is my Guru Bahan. And that one, he is my Chacha Guru. And that one, he is my Dada Guru. Arey Ram, 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 Ram. Murde ki koi relation hote hai kya? When the sannyasi is taken, we have done the Shraddha. Atma Shraddha we are done. So for all practical purposes, we are dead. When you touch us, go and take bath. Most unauspicious person we are. And yet we create relations. See, friends. So do you mean that we should all leave our house? Don't do that. Don't become serious about anything or anybody. That is all. But we become so serious on small issues because body identification has not gone. First step. The second step is, come to know this very clearly. After body identification, the next generation is born. Thereafter we become mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, etc. So there are three eyes. Trambakam yajamahe. Three eyes. First is Mukhyatma, the real self. Second is Mithyatma, the illusory self. And the third is Gaunatma, the secondary self. So Mukhyatma is Satchidananda, Aham Brahmasmi, Mukhyatma. Mithyatma is I am body, I am man, I am woman, I am young, I am old, I am beautiful, I am awful. See? Mithyatma. And after the Mithyatma is born, then the third generation is born. I am mother, father, brother, sister. Now see, where are we? So the real spiritual practice is, we start from where we are lost only in the Gaunatma. Start from the Gaunatma, come to the Mithyatma. Discard the Mithyatma. So therefore we are told, you are not body, but you are embodied. That embodied is called the soul or the Jiva. Now the second step in the spiritual path is find out what the soul is. So the second freedom is freedom from the Jiva Bhava. We are no more an individuality, but we are the divine expressing through this body as individual. See, this example I gave you, what is there in the bulb? So we'll say, there is light. No, Baba, there is electricity. Light is the expression of electricity. See? In the same manner, Bhagavad Gita's 13th chapter, 2nd verse, Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Bhagavan says, in and through everything and being, I am manifesting. So the life is a manifestation. Like the light is a manifestation. Originality is electricity. In the same manner, originality is the absolute conscious blissful self. Manifestation is life or jivana, but this is named as jiva or the soul. The second freedom is from this I. So we are not the jiva, but we are the divine expressing through the limitations of these panchakoshas, and yet no more influenced by these limitations. Like the lotus is born in the waters, grows in the water, sustained in the water, but not touched by the water. We live very much in this world. We do our business, mother, father, brother, sister, rich, poor, continue. But at the same time, we are no more touched by any one of them. And this can happen only with this wisdom. Shariram havihi. So we have offered our gross body in the fire of this knowledge, thereby the waking world is conquered. The second body, the subtle body is offered in the fire of knowledge, thereby the jiva bhava has gone. Then the third thing, the original sin. What is the original sin? Original sin is like this, We ourselves create something, and in our own creation we get entangled. See? We only create. Like, I go to so many houses and they prepare food. So they have created food. So after you create the food, forget about it. Let somebody eat or not eat. But then if you don't tell that Amma, the food is so good, she feels so bad, so entangled. See? And if you tell, oh Mama, this is so nice, so tasty, from which shop you brought it? Mamaji, we don't bring anything, immediately misery begins. So we get entangled in our own creation. This is the error. Therefore, this last error, avidya, ignorance, is conquered by the knowledge or the wisdom. The jiva bhava is transcended through inquiry and understanding, and the dehatma bhava is rejected by strict discipline. These three things, when they are practiced, shariram havihi, we have offered this body in the fire of this self-realization. Nothing remains. See? And for that, only one thing if we practice, try to experience what exactly happens when the deep sleep begins. See? So in deep sleep, where is the waking world? Who we are? So neither we are in anything, anywhere, anytime, and as nobody. But we still continue to exist. Therefore, our existence is not dependent on the body, but the body is dependent on me. This independent conscious existence is the recognition of the self. And this can happen, shariram havihi. So we start living as the body, samsari. We start living through the body, a seeker. We start living as the jiva, samsari. We start living as reality and expressing as the jiva is a great master. This is the only difference. Shariram havihi. Now, once this body identification, jiva bhava, and the ignorance of the self is discarded, then what happens? For such a yogi, jnanam annam. Now his food is knowledge. Do you remember in the first chapter we have seen, it was said, jnanam bandhaha, knowledge is bondage. Now here it is said, jnanam annam. Jnana annam means that which is eaten. See? Which knowledge? That knowledge which creates a duality where subject-object duality is taken to be real. That knowledge. See? So that knowledge is annam, meaning what? Such a great master, such a great seeker does not get influenced by the projections by the mind, because his mind is now dissolved in consciousness. So all the knowledge that we have through the mind, something is good, something is bad, something is important, something is not important, every knowledge gets totally devoured, totally digested. And what remains is that which cannot be rejected. See? Annam. So anything that is gathered, waking knowledge of the waker, eat it away. Meaning what? When the waking experience ends, waker disappears, we don't go anywhere. Then where the waker and the waking experience has gone, it is eaten by the consciousness. When the dream is over, where the dreamer and the dream experience has gone, it is eaten by the consciousness. See? Therefore, in our scriptures, it is very clearly mentioned, there is no creation. Yatha purvam akalpayat. Nothing is created. In second chapter, Bhagavan Krishna tells Arjuna, Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyakta nidananyeva tatraka paridevana. Everything is earlier unmanifest, then it becomes manifest, and again it goes back to unmanifest. Nothing is created and therefore nothing is destroyed. See? Jnanam annam. Meaning what? All the experiences at the relative world are dissolved in the absolute, and absolute is that where relativity is only imagined. Please get this point very clearly. Absolute cannot be divided. Absolute cannot be fractioned. But we can always imagine. See? Like man is absolute. Then we imagine he is the son of so and so. Then the man is absolute. Then we imagine he is the husband of so and so. The man is absolute. Then we imagine he is the father of so and so. So is this one man divided into three? He is not divided. He continues to be one. So when the father dies, what happens to the son? When the wife goes away, what happens to the husband? When the child dies, what happens to the father? Nothing happens because they are nowhere. Come to discover this truth. Therefore, Upanishad very clearly it is, Nayamatma balahinena labhyaha. Those who are weaklings, it is not for them. We have to be courageous. This is the truth. After having known the truth, then play the game of life. And when we play the game of life, follow the rules and regulation of the game. See, there was a football match going on in Calcutta. And in football match, there are two parties and one ball. They keep on hitting that poor ball. So one sheikh came from Middle East. And he saw poor Indians, they are fighting for one ball. He went to the market. He purchased 22 balls. And with a big container he came and he said, stop! What happened? Don't fight for one ball, take one ball, we play. Isn't it the beauty of life? See, friends. So there it is not that they are short of number of balls, but when you are playing the game, you have to follow the rules. In the same manner, with this knowledge, with this experience, now play the game of life. So if you are a child, respect your parents, do their seva. If you are a mother-in-law, trouble the daughter-in-law as much as you can. Do your roles perfectly well. See, and in spite of all that is happening, don't suffer at all. See? Then, jnanam annam. This is the meaning of the knowledge is food. Which knowledge? This relative knowledge. Therefore, wise people are never serious. Wisdom is manifested as wit and humor. No wise man you will see ever serious. See, a very simple thing. Suppose I tell you the same joke, one after another, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Will you enjoy it? No. Swami, you are telling the same joke again and again. So what happened? I am getting bored. I am not enjoying this. What is the same joke again and again? Okay, agreed. The same joke doesn't make you happy again and again. But the same misery, why makes you miserable again and again? One misery somewhere in one's life, it keeps on making miserable throughout life. So either laugh on every joke, the same joke 100 times, laugh 100 times. It doesn't happen. When I was listening to these ammas, I remembered one thing. There was one person who was giving a classical, performance. And after his performance was over, the audience clapped and said, again, repeat. Mukarrar, wah, 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 wah. So again he did. Once, twice, thrice, 7 times. And again they say, please repeat. So he said, you liked it so much that you are asking me to repeat again and again? He said, no, till you sing correctly, repeat. You are not singing correctly, you are singing wrong. See, friends, play the game of life. And for playing any game, follow the rules. But at the same time, remember, this is just a game. Don't become serious about anything in this world. But instead of that, if yada tu evam satatavahitaha na bhavati, when the seeker is thus not abiding in this truth all the time, but what happens? Tada jnanavataha api asya avadhana avalepad. So, when we do not remain extremely alert and vigilant and aware of this truth that we are, There is every possibility that we may slip down any moment. One of the most important spiritual practice, never take anything in life for granted. Never take anything for granted. One of the most important thing. See, while coming, I saw one or two clips somebody said about this Chennai floods. So when the waters were flowing so heavily on the road, on the bridge, the driver was driving because he has taken for granted. No, I have gone for so many times. No. Never take any relation for granted. Never take any event for granted. Every time we must remain extremely alert. And what is that alert? We are the seekers till death. Don't take the position of a guru. The moment you become a guru, all the doors of wisdom are closed. See, friends, we have to remain as a seeker. And when we are a seeker, you will see the child in us will remain alive. Keeping the child in us alive is the spiritual practice. And who is the old person? Old person, when the moment the child comes in front of him or her, he becomes old. And what is the old person? He has to teach something to the children. Don't do this, stand up. Don't eat nails, you eat my nails, they are grown up. Let us be like a child with the child. See, friend, this is how we unnecessarily take the position of a guru and teaching others. No. Therefore, when the seeker has forgotten this, then Vidya Samhare. Vidya Samhare means now we have started taking things for granted in life. See, all the accidents which happen on the road, they never happen because of a person who is a newly recruited driver. It happens with those, come on, yaar, I have been driving for so many years, don't worry, sit down. They take things for granted and the accidents happen. See, never take anything for granted. The other day I was in Bits Pilani, a few years before, and a very old building, very nice, very good buildings. So I was going by one step, and then one student came running and jumping three steps. So when he was coming, I said, hey, don't miss anything. He said, no, I always do like this thing. He said it and did, and third step he fell down. So I helped him. He said, never mind. You have missed only one step, but the rest of the things happened. Never take anything in life for granted, particularly among relations. All the misunderstanding happens when we take things for granted. Never take anything for granted. Vidya Samhare. We have to remain alert, vigilant. Then, Tadutha Swapna Darshanam. And when we take things for granted, don't remain aware, then again the old habit starts sprouting. The old thing starts coming. There was one man who came with his friend. And he says, Swamiji, my friend has a problem, please help him. I said, I don't give money to somebody. That is my rule. My rule is I accept money, I don't give. Today also somebody phoned me. I am from ICICI Bank. I said, look here, before you give me the option for the various loans, listen to me first. I have a rule, I accept only donations. Do you have any schemes to give donations? Put down the phone. The day you start taking things for granted, you are completely gone. Never take anything for granted. And when we take the thing for granted, our alertness goes down. And when alertness goes down, accidents happen. And what is the accident? Accident is, again, sometimes something comes up in the mind, And that keeps us moving around. The thought construction faculty becomes operative. One day, one old friend of mine, he asked me this question. This happened in Assam, probably Guwahati. Very elderly, very nice person, either a Punjabi or a Sindhi, I don't remember. Businessman, very well settled. And he was going when my satsang was going on, so he stood near the door and was listening. And after that, he said, I am hearing for the first time, but I liked you. Will you like to come to my house for breakfast? I said, no, I have to go to somebody's house. Then come tomorrow or so. I said, okay. One day I went to his house. On the way, he said, you come alone, don't bring any kamandalu. I said, all right. So I went alone. On the way, he told me, please help me. This is a very silly thing, but I don't know to whom to ask. So I feel confident in you, you will guide me. I said, okay, what is the problem? He said, problem is, see, I am 80, yes. I have got 4 sons. All of them are married. They have got their children. And I am so old, yet in my mind, all funny things come up. I don't know what should I do. I know they are my daughter-in-laws. I know they are my grandchildren. But my mind is unable to comprehend that. And all kinds of things keep coming. I don't know what should I do. See, friends, never take a single moment in life for granted. And for this purpose, strict discipline on oneself is a must. Otherwise, we get lost in our own creation. And in the old days, the biggest problem is this. There is no other problem except the mind starts playing tricks. So we get lost in the... One person asked me, Swamiji, don't laugh at me. I said, no, you are self-sufficient. Yes, tell me. He said, whenever I sit for meditation, I don't know why that thought comes in my mind. So I kept quiet. When I was small, our neighbor, there was a small girl. I was also small that time, maybe about 4 or 5 years. And we used to go to the school together. Now all the time that is bothering me. Where must be she? Every time I sit for meditation, her name is Kalpana, I still remember. See, where must be Kalpana? And I keep on sitting for hours together. Kalpana, Kalpana, Hare Ram, Ram, Ram. And I am unable to adopt that Kalpana. Because we have not remained alert. That is the mind getting entangled with the body identification or the Jiva Bhava. See, the frequency of thoughts per second is reduced when we are liberated from body identification and Jiva Bhava. Then the quality of the mind is like the mirror. Reflects everything, rejects nothing, at the same time retains nothing. But when we forget vidya samvare taduttha swapna darshanam, then again the same thing begins. See? We come across stories in our Puranas, like Vishwamitra, when he was doing tapasya, he did tapasya for so many years, and then these various gods, they sent one apsara. Apsara? In Hindi, the government officers are called as apsar. So apsara, So one apsara was sent to Vishwamitra Rishi, and he got involved in her and got entangled. You cannot afford even once, not even once. Otherwise, vidya samhare, our vidya, our experience, our abidance in the truth, when it slips even for 1 second. And see friends, in Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, Bhagavan says, Shaknoti haivaya sodhum prak sharira vimokshanad kama krodhodbhavam vegam sa mukta sa sukhi naraha. He who is able to stand the onslaught of desire and anger while he is alive, prak sharira vimokshanad, he alone is a yogi. He alone is liberated, and he alone is nara, human being. Others are vanara. See, you cannot take even one chance. It is something like, suppose you are climbing hundreds of steps, and after going, come on, I already climbed 500 steps, only another 100 remaining, I will go and slip 1 step, remaining will happen. See, as much we become subtler and subtler, there is more possibility of slip. If our clothes are dirty, it doesn't make any difference, little more dirt. But if our clothes are white, ball, iron, spick and span, even a scooter going nearby, and the emission which comes from these exhaust, that will be enough to print a spot on your clean cloth, is it not? In the same manner, as we become subtler and subtler in our experiences, we become more and more vulnerable. Therefore, vidya samvare tadutha sapna darshanam. Therefore, one should never take the things granted. In this manner, we have completed this 2nd chapter of Shiva Sutra. So the first was basically called as Shambhavi Upay, Shambhavopay. The second one is called as Jnanopay or Shaktopay. Now the third one is the one which is Anvopay. For a Jiva, what should be the spiritual practice? So he becomes qualified to enter the Jnanopay or Shaktopay, and when he completes the Shaktopay, then he is graduated to enter the Shambhavopay, where there is Udyamo Bhairavaha, there is a flash of divine experience without much efforts. These are the 3 upaya, 3 steps. The remaining things, God willing, we see whenever He wants. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.